That too, I'm checking out real close.
That law takes effect in August.
A new South Carolina law forces death row inmates to choose between the electric chair or a firing squad. News Channel 6's Chloe Salceveda has more.
Dozens of inmates are currently on death row in South Carolina. They now have a third execution method to choose from, but some are questioning if that's humane for inmates and for those who are pulling the trigger.
South Carolina hasn't executed a person in a decade. It hasn't had the drugs to carry out a lethal injection. Death row inmates now have a new option, be executed by firing squad. The state is now finalizing how these executions will take place if an inmate chooses it.
Gary Gilmore had people about 20 to 30 feet away. 6 police officers were selected. One was given a blank, and so no individual shooter knows that they were the ones with a live ammunition. And these are the type of specifics in terms of how this would take place that will have to be really detailed before anything happens.
Civil rights groups say the firing squad method is inhumane. Several inmates on death row are now suing the state. Chloe Salceveda at Wjbf, News Channel 6.
Still to come, It's unfortunate, and it happens too often in our area. Hopeful property renters scammed out of their time and money. News Channel 6's Mary Calkins now with the ways that you can protect yourself.
What a rough way to start a new chapter in life. The deposit is done, the first month's rent is paid, and you've even started moving into the property, only to find out the whole thing was a scam. Well, unfortunately, that kind of thing happens all the time.
These rental property scammers scour neighborhoods and listing websites for the for rent signs. Then they create their own fake listings and fake leases, all to try and sell you a fake story.
They're able to provide the prospective resident with a code, gain access to the property. They do their own self-showings, and then they're pretty much forwarded a fake lease, and then they end up cash apping the scammer.
When the scammer seems so legitimate, how can you know if it's the real deal? Valentine says there are some things to keep an eye out for.
You should always want to check to make sure that the lease that you're signing has the owner's name or the property management company's name. You want to make sure that you're providing a check or, some sort of, submitting money through property management software.
She strongly advises against using websites like Craigslist or Facebook for property listings. And she says to be on the lookout for red flags. One big one, legitimate landlords usually accept payment by check, not cash or payment via Venmo or Cash App.
I would highly recommend to avoid any sort of cash or Cash App.
She says her best tip, do your research.
Make sure that you're verifying that the owner on the lease is legit, or, at least if it's not the owner, it's the property management company. Do your research, Google these properties. You can find out who the owners of these properties are. Make sure that, like I said, matches with the lease.
If you've fallen prey to one of these scams, the best thing to do is notify the police and leave the property as soon as possible.
Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're having to get evicted, because that's only going to hurt you in the long run when trying to find additional properties moving forward.
In Augusta, Mary Calkins, Wjbf, News Channel 6.
Coming up.